Hello friends, my name is Ashok Sen Gupta and I am from School of Management Sciences, Lucknow. Today we will discuss a new topic, tools and techniques of project management. This topic is a part of project management course in MBA program. In this topic we will discuss the things which are related to project management and techniques how we maintain or manage the project management. So, there are various kind of tools and techniques we will understand one by one. So, we can start with project management tool techniques are really work, that is problem statement. These strategies and tools are properly necessary so that we can get the job done without spending more and more of revenues and manpower. Because if we spend that much energy on work activities without a proper direction in mind, there will be a serious trouble down the road, and it is very true. If you do not have any technique, if you do not have any kind of tools to manage the project management, then we never get success properly. What we want to do? We put lots of energies, lot of manpower, revenues in project to accomplish the project, but finally the result will not according to us. There is a variance in result and it may be negative variance, unfavorable variances. Therefore, we must understand how to use the various tools and techniques in project management for the successful project completion. First is classical techniques. So, first is classical techniques. The classical technique is an amazing procedure that includes proper plan to cover all the upcoming work activities which are to be performed and what we should the chain of applications. It is a classical technique, like this technique traditionally used and still it is using in any kind of project where we plan the each and everything right on the paper, get the lots of paperwork, make the filing, receive allocation of the jobs, resource to the tasks according to the importance, provide receiving proper feedback of the team building, monitoring the quality and give deadlines to them, Therefore, this is a tool which are normally used in day to day work, even in any project, any kind of target where a team leader give a target to its employee, to its team members, to its colleagues to accomplish the work. We make paperwork, we allocate the things to the resources to the different person according to his or her specialty, education, experiences. Then we allocate the team, we allocate the money and also the other external resources must collaborate with each other. So, therefore, classical technique is an procedure include proper plan to cover all the upcoming activities what we have. Second is waterfall techniques. A waterfall technique is also considered a traditional project management tool because it is built on the proper upper mentioned classic approach and make its whole new level. So, this approach, this tool is actually based on the classical techniques, but it gives some new spices in this technique and make it more useful in compared to the classical. It is used the basic idea of the classical, then add some new things and make it more useful for analysis project to get the work done. As the title suggests, it is a sequence of work we properly sequel the forms where next task is only performed and performed when the previous task is completed. Previous task, it is a kind of sequence of work where we feel that first task is completed in 3 weeks, second task complete after completion of that third week. Let do this, understand that one. First week, second week, third week, fourth week, fifth week. Any task X is started and completed in end of the second week. The task Y complete after the completion of first one. Task Z, it may be move parallel and go to fourth week, alpha. So, this is a kind of sequence work which we used, and just like a waterfall, waterfall we saw waterfall like this one. So, that is known as waterfall technique, where we complete the first second task after completion of work task, or sometime 2 tasks or 3 tasks move parallelly. These techniques are mostly used in as also known as Gantt chart. We saw the Gantt chart, where Gantt chart is prepared accordingly, where we plan to accomplish the work in first week, second week, third week, and then it is a kind of parallel lines moving with each other. After completion of first week, second work of second will start. Even real world example, when we talk about the real world example, then let us see a pillar or bridge. Until and unless pillars are not established or constructed, we cannot connect the bridge, we cannot connect 2 pillars with each other. So, this one, these are the pillars P1, P2, P3. Most of the time all the pillars are constructed parallelly. So, it is one task. Then connect this is a one task. When this connect, then its first and second will, when first and second will connect, then second and third will connect. So, it is parallel, the work is parallelly done by each time. Agile project management techniques. The project management technique that is most famous and is quite outstanding in its application, because it deals with project in a way quite different from other traditional approaches. An agile approach is basically crush the big project types into smaller splits, and that help in detailed analysis of the project progress during the development stage. The detailed analysis helps in the effective effectiveness of the planning according to the various work. So, this type of project tools are useful because in big project it is very difficult to handle or control the overall total project. In this approach, big project steps into shortened splits, and when they split the things, it is quite easy to control the overall project and manage the project. Like, if this is a metro rail and this is the initiating point and this is a closure point, and this is a run of 23 kilometers, then It is very difficult to start in all 23-kilometer work together. Therefore, companies are thinking how to split it. It not necessary that this line is straight, it may be like, it can be like this one also. So, all the planning of splitting the big project are like split this one, this one, this one, first complete this, then complete this one, parallelly this one, and at last join this. Sometimes projects are moving from two directions, the completion of the work started from both direction, from this one also and this one also, and they meet and join together in a between areas or between the places, between the area we demarcated. Therefore, we can control the small things, small splits. This is a small part, we can control that one. Some supervisor is there, this is a small part, we can control this one. And after and when we control here, that is very easy to control the other parts, because initially we control the things, Hence, project split the big project in a small part is nowadays a common thing to make the overall control and to avoid losses, damages. Fourth is rational unified process. RUP is an amazing framework that was specially designed for the software market, where the software development team and the projects they work on can benefit it from this framework and achieve the best result possible. RUF prescribes implementing a sequential or iterative development process during the process like the waterfall technique, but with a slight change as the feedback which collect for the betterment of the project of future modification take into the direction product uses. Feedback, this is nowadays a very important factor, where we take the feedback of the customer or feedback of the government, and we sometimes take the feedback from our employees also. So, this RUP method is actually based on waterfall technique, which is sequential technique, where we complete first task, then we move to the second task, but each and every time according to IUP we have to take a feedback, Therefore, feedback is an important part in the RUP, and after getting the feedback, either it is negative or positive, the project management team company can take the decisions and modify their planning and strategies according to the feedback. These feedbacks are valuable for all of the people, stakeholders, customers. Therefore, RUPI is a modern days technique, it is one of the modern day technique, because and every time we get the feedback, we get feedback from of services. Whenever we give order to on any food delivery like Zomato, like Swiggy, etc., Domino's, we get a mail or WhatsApp that is, please rate us, please give us the feedback. These feedbacks are actually works. They works to increase and modify their task, how to do more, much better than they are doing today. Okay. Part program evaluation and review technique part. This is a technique basically used by uh, military personnel during Second World War to maintain their military activities timely, but now this is also a technique to measure or maintain the project. PERT techniques covers three things basically, and these techniques based on the estimated time. We are work on the probability. Most likely, three options: most likely, optimistic and pessimistic. Most likely, optimistic. So, there are three key elements in PERT technique which is used to analyze the projects. PERT is an incredible software management technique that is very widely used in lot of different areas and industries. The way of technique work on the facilitates the project with quite complex and amazing detailed planned scenarios that help the development and team to proper visual the whole process and their end result on PERT chart. The main feature that this technique has that it is perform effective analysis the task of performed within a project. So, if you have a project, then what is the success rate of the project? If you are optimistic, what is the time taking? What if you are pessimistic, what will be the time taking? It is calculated by the project. As all we know, we study in our OR operation research in past semesters that there is a events like this ones. So, this is the path, and most likely, most pessimistic we can analyze by using the data given in this path. So, here is the starting point, is the end point, end point, the starting point and end point as a part of the project management or PERT chart, and the PERT chart is basically based on three elements like most likely, optimistic and pessimistic approaches, which have a separate formula to calculate, which we discuss in our later part of the unit. I think in unit 4 I think. So, we will discuss there and how we calculate the PERT and how we calculate the other techniques. Similarly, critical path technique. This is another technique. Critical path technique is an amazing procedure that used for projects and different tasks to schedule and plan the work activities according to the requirements mentioned on the project benefit. It also conjunction with the PERT method previously. So, critical path is a path we can draw with some arrows and nodes and events, which activity started first and which will end, and from end what are the two activity like. There are activities like A is starting point, A is a starting point, and from A we move to B and parallelly C. From C B and C meet each other at point D. So, these are the working. We start the work from here, divide the work in 2 phases, then complete the work at D. From D it can be also to E and so on as per the events. And so, this is a critical path. So, you have to find out which is the best part in this critical part, and we can just take the decisions according to the critical path techniques. So, this is an incredible technique, okay, that is used to detect and confirm the longest path to be performed, which is the longest path and which is the shortest path. This means the activity can be supposed to happen on certain trajectory and have certain important highlights, so that task can individually perform and sequel perform. Which task can perform individually, which task can perform sequentially, which task can perform together, we can find in the critical path technique. You can find in, let this A is work individually, B is individually, C and D are sequentially, B and D collaborate and they meet at E. So, these are the path 1 3 4 5 1 2. So, to reach E either we have 1 or 2 and 1 3 4 5. So, this is a technique which we can decide how we can move from one path to the another path, for one goal to the another goal with the various with the tools of techniques, the tool and techniques. So, these are the some basic tools and techniques which we understand, which we used, which we read in this topic. I just recap all this thing. So, in today's topic we will discuss on the introductory part of how project tools and techniques are useful, why we use the tools and techniques, how we can maintain the tools and techniques, because if you are using lots and lots of money, if you put lots of resources there, but end of the day you are not maintaining any tools to monitoring the project, you are not monitoring any project, not properly control the project, then your money and time both will lose. Therefore, in project management it is very compulsory, it is very necessary to understand the various tools and techniques and use any one of tool techniques or two, whatever the decision making the company have done. But it is quite important to monitor, quite important to make a budget, quite important to control. So, first technique was simply classic techniques, and this classic techniques we understand ki how companies started the project, write the details on the paper, make budget, allocation the resources to the person, allocate the person, appoint the person and give him the key areas, key responsibility areas, check his performance, give him deadline to complete the project. This is a classical method. Second method is waterfall technique method. Waterfall technique method is a method in which one task is completed, after that second task will start, just like a waterfall, just like a waterfall. Like in this figure that we saw that from week 1 to week 2 x, then week 2 week 3 y. Similarly, z is started with parallelly with week 2, completed with 4, alpha started at week 4 at the end of z sequentially, just like a waterfall, one by one, and it is very easy to control or to understand, to analyze these kind of tools. Gantt chart is based on waterfall techniques. Agile project management, this project management techniques is also based on waterfall technique, but it is little bit more filtered the things and added a new thing which is split the whole project in small shorter splits, which help to analyze the smaller part in details, and we can take the proper decision making accordingly. Fourth is RUPF. RUPF is one of the techniques of added waterfall, and like waterfall technique, similarly it added a new things which is feedback in after completion of the work, feedback from the various team members, stakeholders, etc., and work on that if they fail or if they having achieved the target, work on that and more effective for the future. Fifth is PERT and review techniques. This technique is used by in World War II, now using in project management, where we having the three elements like ML, most likely, optimistic and pessimistic approach, and we are estimated the cost and time for the future according to the probability. Last is critical path technique, in which we have find the shortest path, critical path. We have the different sequence of the paths, and we have some paths are moved parallel, some are jointly, and we work on the end or starting point there. So, these are the 6 technique we understand that. Hope you understand these all the technique of project management tools and techniques, and these are the references for your help. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.